We should be live.
Yeah, we're live on your end. I see the live thing going, but I don't know if
See.
we're live on my end.
Let me see if we're live here.
Oh, now I am. It's saying, okay, are you sure? All right, we're live. We're live on my end too. Thank you. All right, let's do this, Mel.
All right, you're my moderator, Amber. Tell me if I'm live also on X, Amber. Am I live on X?
I don't know yet. I have to check.
Can
Okay,
you, bye.
How you doing, Mel?
Wow.
This is a surprise live. I know I didn't announce it or anything. So yeah, I mean, I'm speaking in terms of my audience. I know for my audience, this is going to be a a little surprise here. Surprise. We have the combined audience of both Mel Carmine and Ismael Perez. Yes, I see some of the Galactic Jedis jumping online. Hi, Lee Archer. Hi, Jennifer Dawn. I see, who else do I see? I guess Laura May, people that I recognize, but it's also a combination of your people as well. I see. Nice. How you doing, Mel? It's a long time no see, brother.
Yeah, it's been a while, brother. Are you excited to come to the Quantum Summit again?
You know what?
A lot of people want to see you.
I am looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, and the price of XRP is going to determine how packed the place is. I'm expecting a conservative $6 to $8, and I won't be shocked if it's $10 XR by the time Donald Trump's hand comes off the Bible.
Right. And I'm, if you don't mind, I do have some questions for you because my audience really wants to know more about XRP and XLM and how it's connected to the quantum financial system and how fast this new economy will be rolled out. So do you mind if I ask you some questions, Mel?
No, not at all. Please shoot ahead.
All right. I actually had to write them down because I really had to think about what I was going to ask you. The first question is, what's the first step? I think this is like the first thing that most people think about when they want to, look into XRP and XLM. So, like, what is the first step for someone to start learning about how to use XRP and XLM?
That's the best question ever. We have made it simple, stupid. Not that people are stupid out there, but this is a new thing, and it's overwhelming because it's got a lot of buttons and a lot of changing the entire financial system forever. And it's not a simple thing. It's a very complicated, complex thing. And we didn't expect that people are going to learn immediately over a period of, 5 days or even 5 weeks. This is an ongoing evolution. Amber and I have been at this for almost 9 years. So we set up the most simplistic website in the world called QFS1776.com. And if you were talking about, a website that's elementary in nature, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade level of education, QFS 1776 definitely checks all the boxes when it comes to that. So we got all the most amazing videos that are very, very elementary in nature in a chronological order. Anybody who watches the first video, they'll immediately know what XRP is, what the quantum financial system is, what's coming. It's very simplistic. It's got like 400,000 views. And as you go down, we got about 30-something videos in that column. But I get down to the last video, you got an incredible education. There's no question about it. But you have to put in the time. In other words, your audience is going to have to go there and hit the play button and really immerse themselves and watch what's getting ready to happen. And we're living it right now. I mean, we're literally making the transition of the old guard onto the new guard. And it's exciting because as we speak right now, for example, the XRP is jumping. It's at $3.05. It was at $3.17 today. And I expect, there's going to be like a little retracement. There's going to be a little bit of bounce back and forth. But I do expect probably we're going to be waking up to like 350, 360 XRP within 24, 48 hours.
Nice. Because I do definitely have some XRP and XLM myself. Well, that's very good to know.
It's a long-winded answer, but hopefully that helps.
Oh, absolutely. I think for beginners, this is a very good start. Thank you so much for explaining that, Mel. And do you believe that the gold that has been taken from the Vatican vaults and the trust funds of the Saint Germain and Rodriguez Trust will be redistributed, brought when they bring out the quantum accounts through our digital wallets for those of us that have XRP and XLM?
Yeah, there is so much. There's such an abundance of resources on the planet. I do believe that there are resources that they have hidden from us deliberately. They were never that they've had them, and Donald Trump is the big, wrecking ball that's about to come in and change all of that. And so, yeah, I believe there's a lot of gold in the Vatican. I believe I know for a fact there's a lot of gold in the Philippines because the Japanese, when they went into World War II, they thought they were going to win the war, and they hid the gold, thinking that after they win, they would just go and take the loot and take it home with them. That never happened. They lost the war, and so it's still hidden in the Philippines. And they say that dwarfs what they found in the Vatican. So imagine Grand Canyon is another place that you and I are not able to go there anymore because they say there is an infinity amount of gold, literally. Okay. And
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
heard
these
about that.
in the Grand Canyon is
Yeah.
being guarded by who? The U.S. military. What is the use of the U.S. military in the Grand Canyon unless there's something of extreme value to guard? Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. It's the same thing with Area 51,
Yeah.
Why do they guard it so carefully? So yeah,
Yes.
it makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. My next question to you is, can you describe the utility of XRP? Like, what is it actually going to do for the new financial system?
Well, they need a bridge currency, and we've been running on this SWIFT system, which is extremely antiquated, very slow, very cumbersome. And if you were to send, for example, $10,000 from the United States anywhere, pick a city, doesn't matter whether it's New York or Los Angeles or Miami, and you're sending it to Sydney, Australia, for example, it has to go through 5 or 6 intermediaries, and each of them take a little piece off the top. If everything is done correctly, it gets to from point A to point B in about maybe 3, 4, 5 days, if you're lucky. If the transaction was done wrong and there's a couple of commas missing, it gets kicked, and then when you resend it again, they take another piece again. That system is too old. Somebody had to create, the system, a new system, and obviously XRP is going to fill that void. So will XLM to some extent. So will XDC, and so will a lot of the ISO tokens. So
I see.
we're literally watching history unfold. I'm not a Bitcoin guy. I don't hate on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin doesn't do anything. Bitcoin was created to do what XRP does in flying colors. So because I believe the same guy, or at least there might be a group of them, because I was the guy that cornered Satoshi Nakamoto at the XRP conference last May, because they needed a new system. And he's the one that I believe he's the main guy, the main Satoshi that created the Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin doesn't work. The only guy that can go back and fix the Bitcoin is David Schwartz, aka the main Satoshi Nakamoto, right? So
Right.
now,
Yeah.
now they got this shiny $100,000, but math is math. Like my good friend Marie, for example, who's very very well to do lady, has got a lot of money. She understood the math. She got it. She says, "You're right. XRP is at 49 cents." I got her to switch out all of her Bitcoin into XRP. She's happy as a stinking slob right now. Why? Simply because the XRP is at $3, so she 6x her money. And when I told her to do that, Bitcoin was at what? 50,000. So 50,000 right now, it's 100,000. She would have doubled her money. Well, what do you think? 6x or double your money? I'll take the 6x. It doesn't matter what the number is. It's the math, right? And
Correct. Yeah.
XRP is just getting warmed up because XRP, as far as I'm concerned, it is the 99,000-pound gorilla that nobody wants to pay attention to. And they all know it's in the cage. All the bankers, they know it's there, but nobody wants to, they don't want to acknowledge it because they don't want to serve anyone until it's time. And the big fat cats on Wall Street want to buy it for cheap. So they don't want to draw any attention to it just yet. But there'll be a time, I promise you, that everybody will know. Right now, XRP is becoming a household name. People, the eyebrows are up, and they're saying something's going on here. You betcha.
I see. Now, I do have some of my viewers that don't know what XRP or XLM are. Can you briefly or simply just explain what
Sure,
they are?
it's a digital bridge currency that travels through the blockchain system, which is unhackable, and you could pay anybody you want directly peer to peer. In other words, if you want to sell me that air purification system, you have there to your right, and I'm willing to pay you $100 worth of XRP, and you got a wallet that is XRP friendly, for example, I could send the XRP directly to your wallet. I don't need a central bank digital currency to do. This is what the biggest Mexican standoff has been all about. The banks who understand what the technology is, they realize that this is disruptive on levels that most people can't comprehend. But because we've been here for, my wife and I, almost 9 years, we bought our first XRP at 0.000, I'm sorry, 2 zeros, 0.002 of a penny. And my wife bought $50 worth she bought 12,500 XRP back then. Okay. Can't anymore. Obviously, it's $3 today, $3 and change, and climbing. I expect that by the time we get to the quantum summit that you're coming to, we're going to conservative see a $20 XRP, a $30 XRP is not out of the cards. Hence the reason why I believe, the quantum summit, at least for the XRP aficionados, is going to become ground zero, the first party of 2025. XRP quantum summit.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for that explanation. And let me close my door real quick for a second. Alrighty. So my next question is a while ago, you had a guy by the name of Patrick Riley speak at some of your events, and he has blueprints apparently for over Unity free energy devices, right? Some of this hidden tech. What ever happened to these blueprints, and has he confirmed or proved that anyone is successfully using these yet to power up their home or run a Bitcoin?
That's one of my favorite subjects, and I've recently had Juan Osavin on, and I really backed up into a corner. We have these technologies. We know for absolute fact that Patrick Bet-David has recently come out and said, "Hey, we want to know what's going on with these 6,000 patents that are being hidden from us. We're capitalists. We want to know because we would like to capitalize on this." So when you got guys like Patrick Bet-David talking about these subjects specifically, and they're talking about hidden technologies, what else is there besides? I mean, out of 6,000 patents, how many of them are flying cars? How many of them are over Unity motors? How many of them are things that we don't understand? How many of them are virtual celestial chambers where you can go through one of these systems? If you're in good shape like yourself, you go to gym, your diet is not a riot, you come out the other side, you have a 800, 900, 1,000 year lifespan. That's amazing, right? So, and this is the stuff that they've been hiding from us, and it's all about to change on them. Everything's about to backfire on them spectacularly. Why? Because we've been held back for so long, and now you got people coming in to have their head screwed on straight, like RFK. Enough is enough. We need clean food. We need clean air. We got to get rid of the chemtrails. We got to get rid of all this stuff, right? And so that's the direction they're moving in. They're talking about no more taxes. They're talking about getting rid of, 3-letter agencies. They're talking about things that, it's in that document over there, number 9 at QFS 1776 in the video column. Number 9 is not a video. It's the Jassara original document. And they're talking about the same things they're talking about in that document are the same things that they're talking about doing right now as this administration takes over, right? So even though they're not going to call it that seems the characteristics, right, of what it is and what's written on paper that was presented to the farmers in 1958 is exactly the same. So it doesn't matter that they call it Nasara and Jassara. Doesn't matter that they call it Department of Government Efficiency. Doesn't matter they call it anything at all. No. What matters is they follow the playbook.
Exactly. I totally agree. And have you seen personally any of these free energy devices?
I have not seen free energy devices, but I know people who have played with that, exotic technology for many, many years. I can tell you, that, they're coming because we're, like I said, long overdue. They've been holding us back for a very long time. They don't want you to live a long time. They don't want you to be rich. They don't want you to be healthy. They don't want you to be wealthy. They don't want you to be anything. They want you to be destitute, desperate, and sort of in a situation where you don't know where your next dollar is coming from. You know what I mean? And so we're, like I said, we're about to change a lot of things, and that's why we're having the Quantum Summit, 1776.com. And I, like I said, I believe that the tickets are going to sell out simply because of the price. People are going to want to know, where is the party, and they're going to say, oh shit, the party is down in Cape Canaveral. That's going to be the first one in the entire probably world, but the United States for sure, right?
And when is this event going to be taking place again?
Yeah, March 8th, March 9th. That's 17. We signed the contract on October 17th at 3:17 in the afternoon. We like that number 17. Okay. XRP about an hour ago was 3:17. Okay. So it's going to be pretty cool, because I know the level of people that are coming down that they've been following. They've been, XRP aficionados for a very, very long time. And now it looks like we're going to get our day in the sun. Man, it's exciting. And to time this exactly just right, it takes a little foresight. Like, it takes a little bit of fortitude, right? To be able to say, okay, I think, what's his name? Donald Trump's going to win the election. And I think this is going to happen. That's going to happen. What happened when Donald Trump won the election? Immediately react.
Yeah, I mean,
right? What do you think is going to happen? He puts his hand on the Bible. What do you think? Because the markets are so alive, the markets are so intelligent. The markets are they're thinking. Okay, the minute that the market predicts that Donald Trump is about to put his hand on the Bible, it could be 4 days before, or it could be 4 hours before. The minute it predicts, without any question, unless we get hit with a nuclear bomb, which I doubt, right? The market's
the Galactics would allow that.
Yeah, and I'm calling for a $6, $8 XRP, potentially $10 XRP on the inauguration day.
Right. I even heard that his big speech surprise on the 19th could be something to do with this, right before he gets inaugurated. Who knows? I guess we're all going to find out. You know about some speech he's going to be giving, right, the night before?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear about that. Maybe you might want to enlighten me.
Oh, it's just that he made it public that he was going to be holding some sort of I don't know if it's not a press conference, but he was going to be giving some sort of a speech before he becomes inaugurated. So I don't know what he's going to be talking about.
That's probably a speech that I want to tune into, because
exactly,
it's going to be full of breadcrumbs, and we're going to have to sort of try to dissect and try to make sense of it all, of what he's trying to tell us. Because Donald Trump, I mean, the other day there was a piece where he chose a few letters by using the numbers, but it will all come down to, he said, I forget what number the letter I is, whatever that number is. It came out to I am, with letter M, 17, right? Which is the letter Q. So he's telling everybody, I am Q, right? So, like I said, there's going to be breadcrumbs. If he's doing a speech prior to doing a speech for a reason, I want to know what that reason is. I'll be in attendance.
I'll be listening in. Also, I have another question. So what do you think the differences are going to be between, like, for instance, for XLM versus XRP, in terms of how they are going to be used moving forward into our future economy?
Well, the XLM and the XDCs and the ISO tokens have a lot of the same characteristics of XRP. To what extent they could be sort of scaled, as far as how many transactions per second, etc. Nobody really knows. Those are still yet. I don't know if they're secrets, or the information is really not out there, at least not widely known. But I can tell you that no one token is going to rule them all. The ISO tokens are the ones that people need to watch out for. We've been yelling it from the rooftops. Hey, listen, we're going to be responsible potentially for creating, 100,000 billionaires. Okay, maybe more than 100,000, or 100,000 multi-hundred millionaires for sure. So there's going to be a lot of people out there. People are calling us, say, man, you're not, like, for example, we had a lady from Canada call. You're not going to believe this. She goes, I became a multi-millionaire because of you. And the XRP is not as high as it is today. This is when it hit like $2.50 or whatever. Okay. We have people that are showing a lot of gratitude right now, calling us to let us know, hey, I got in the XRP because of you, and today I became a multi-millionaire. What happens when the XRP goes to $30, $40, $50? These people, like, I'm telling you that there are enough people out there that I know personally, because they've gone through my international brokers, who can sell you any amount of XRP you want, nothing less than $10,000, $10,000, that is. And I can tell you that there's people out there that literally are buying 1 million XRP, 2 million XRP, like they're buying a chopped liver sandwich, literally. Like it's not a big deal. These are people who have jet aircrafts, are very wealthy, they have houses all over the world, etc. And so the level of customer that an ex pizzeria impresario is attracting. Can you imagine what's going on out there in the real world, out there in the field? Forget about it.
Yeah, somebody just asked what's going to happen with our 401k plan.
Oh man, look, I'm not allowed to give you financial advice.
Yeah, let's not do that here. Yeah, that's because
I'm not allowed to give you financial advice, and I don't want to give you financial advice. But if I had a 401k, it was my personal 401k, I would take the penalties and I would run to a broker like my brokers, right, that can get you as much as you want, right, directly, so that you could take that money and take the penalty. I would take the penalty personally. Like I said, if it was my own personal, you do whatever you want with yours. But me personally, I would take the penalty and go into something that I believe it's going to be a buyout, Ishmael, because it has to be a buyout. When you really look at it from a logical standpoint, they need all the money. You understand?
right.
You understand, they need to move all the money. What does all the money mean in this new world that we're graduating into? It doesn't mean 5.5 quadrillion like it used to. It's going to mean a hell of a lot more than that. It's going to mean, a potentially 50 quadrillion, 100 quadrillion, right? So how much do these tokens need to be worth to be able to facilitate that? That's what everybody should be asking.
Right. So basically, their 401ks is safe. In other words, it's just going to be converting, right?
Yeah, I would take, like I said, if I was me, it was my 401k, or an IRA, whatever. It's a dog. They created all these financial instruments that part of the distraction, as far as I'm concerned, while they're taking your money and they're probably be buying XRP, becoming wealthy with XRP, for example, and then just a couple of crumbs and say thank you. Mm-hmm. You understand? So you're basically dealing with middlemen that are very scrupulous, setting up all these financial investment instruments. But the reality is they're investing to where, they know they're going to get 1,000x, 2,000x the money. Now, am I going to guarantee that the XRP is going to go 2,000x? No. But I've been here for a long time. I can visually see the world that is coming. And I have a peripheral. I mean, I went to go see the XRP movie over in Atlanta, and Digital Asset Investor was in a circle of people, and he leaned over. He goes, Mel, he goes, how many things have you been right about? I said, I don't know about everything. And I'm not to toot my own horn, but I have a peripheral vision of being able to see the future. My ego's big enough. I get that. You know what I mean? I'm a New York guy. I'm rough around the edges. I got a big chair. I'm a loudmouth. I'm an ex-pizzeria impresario. I'm Italian, so that gives me the right to speak loudly. Okay. But when I know something, I feel strong about something, I'm going to tell you exactly the way it is. You don't like it? That's okay. It's no skin off my back. You know what I mean? I know one thing. I got my XRP. I got my XLM. I got my XDC. I got my gold and silver. I'm ready to rumble. I got my dinars, and maybe the dinars turns out to be a psyop. Who cares? My XRP is worth $800 million. I lost $2,000 on dinars. Who cares?
Yeah, somebody just said I cashed out my 401k and put it in XRP. Brilliant move, I would say.
That's a smart guy. Now, yeah. I'm not offering financial advice, but whoever that guy is, that guy's brain's wired like Mel Carmine.
This guy, his name, he goes by Budman. That's it, Budman.
Budman. You're a smart guy, Budman.
All right, so my next question for you is, do you believe that the flip, the switch theory, the switch theory is true for XRP? And what is it exactly?
Yeah, the flip is when they're ready. In other words, it's no longer a dress rehearsal and they have to go. It's a go time. See, right now they've been running parallel the old fiat system, which is broken. They're printing money out of thin air. It's not backed by nothing. Monopoly money is worth more than your money that you have in the bank. That's a fact. Okay. And so you're basically, parallel running both of these operations for the last 4 or 5 years. I know that because they don't have a how do you say, the luxury of going back and do a do-over. There's no room for error here. This is for all the casino chips. This is everything right here. Everything's on the line. When they pull that trigger for the final time, Donald Trump steps into power and the dust is going to settle however it needs to settle. You better believe that everything needs to work.
Yeah, exactly. And then another question I have for you is, do you think that there will be a card that is in use with these values coming into it? And how do we properly get the wealth from these transactions onto the card?
I believe it's going to be business as usual. For the people who are not invested and they can't see the future, I feel sorry for you. And I know it's a little difficult and I know it's challenging. I know it's goal. I know that some of you, but if you say to yourself, you know what, I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm really not good at it, but I want to learn. I want to get good at it. If you start telling yourself that you're going to get good at it, because it was put together by humans, we can dissect it. We can go through the hoops. We can get there. You can learn. Believe me, you can learn this. So the bottom line, the question was that how do we transact in the future, right? I think it's going to be business as usual. I think everything's going to be on a debit card, but you're being that all the money is turning to digital currency. I don't like to call it crypto. Digital currency is going to work on a blockchain system. So the 4 banks that I believe will survive is going to be Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, and Citibank. Those are the 4. Okay. Those are your redemption centers as well. Why do we need redemption centers when we got these people who are trained in money? We're going to open up redemption centers and put a bunch of people that don't know nothing about money. No, that's just somebody that wants their 15 minutes of fame. These lions and tigers or whatever you want to call them. Get them out of there. I mean, don't waste your time with these people. These people are incompetent fools. Okay. And I've been told this. And I was at the bank just today. Okay. And I talked to the guy. And the guy, well, he goes, I've gotten conflicting stories. I don't think the dinars are really going to happen. But this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't live in our world. He doesn't follow the news that we follow over in Iraq. The people that follow the stuff, I follow some of the people, not all of them without mentioning their name, very closely, because that's the piece that they've chosen to follow. No one man, no one woman is an island, correct? So we're all trying to figure it out. So you're good at one piece, he's good at one piece, and I'm invested in the dinars. So I know you're good at dinars, I'll follow you. I know this guy's really good at XDC, I'll follow him. I'm pretty good at XRP. I know everything I need to know. But the guy that I would recommend is a good friend of mine who's also going to be at the Quantum Summit is Mikkel Markets. This guy's like Bruce Lee, 10th degree black belt. He knows the mechanics. He can tell you everything you need to know. As a matter of fact, it's funny. He was in a live space not too long ago. I got to tell the story. I've told it in one of my solo podcasts. I got to tell the story for whatever it's worth. And he was, not only was he classy and extremely knowledgeable, but he literally destroyed the Bitcoin Nancy's to little pieces. And it was funny because the video or that audio got recorded. I went back the next day to see if it would play. Sure enough, they disabled it. You couldn't play it because that Bitcoin Nancy's got their asses literally handed to them. You go into the other rooms the following days on X, all these X live shows, right? And they're all talking about Mikkel Markets. About a day later after that, Mikkel Market is doing. There was like 3 other guys who were very good as well. One lady, I believe, was from Australia, and they were in a live space together. And boy, let me tell you something. There was a few intelligent Bitcoin people there asking some very, very cool questions for the first time. They humble themselves. They're saying, maybe there's something to this XRP. Maybe there is something. Yeah, it's nice to invent a story about a store of value, but the reality is this. The store of value means that everybody's got to store it, right? So that it's got some value, correct? Yes? Mm-hmm. Right? If everybody stores it, value. But what happens to the guy that bought it for $20 or $100 or $50, or the guy that bought it for 0.0008 of a penny the very first day it came off the shelf? You could have bought 800 Bitcoins for $1. What happens to those guys? Are they going to do a store of value? Are they going to go along with your plan? Or they're worth billions of dollars? Like, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to trade this in for some gold or some silver or whatever, because we're moving into this monetary system to be backed by gold and silver. And I'm done. I'm a billionaire. I don't need to do a store of value, right? So store of value is a bullshit story when they realize that the Bitcoin does not transact. they had to create another bullshit story so that they can keep it alive. Yes, it's the first one. It's got name recognition. That doesn't mean that the first horse that comes out of the gate is going to win the race. I'm telling you, there's a very strong possibility here that by mid-2025, end of 2025, I'm going on a limb here, all right, that XRP will take the number one position.
Yeah, you just answered somebody's.
My question to the Bitcoin people is, are they going to call Bitcoin an altcoin then? Because if XRP is in the number one position and we blow your doors off, and we will, are you guys going to be called the altcoin? Because they make it's sort of like, they make fun of us in a way. Oh, those are the altcoins. What do you guys do? Can somebody come to the table? Can the Michael Saylors please step into the ring with Mel Carmine? I will eat your lunch, dude. Because I'll ask you 3 questions and you won't be able to answer. And then you're going to lose. Then you take all those college words and all those fancy college diplomas and go back to college because you don't belong in my ring. I will eat your lunch. I know what I'm talking about. If I tell you, hey, the Bitcoin takes, sometimes hours to move from point A to point B, and I can prove to you, depending on how busy the network is, right, that it could cost thousands of dollars to move 2 lousy Bitcoins.
Right, exactly. Now, I do want to make something clear here to my viewers, the Galactic Jedis, because I have, reading some of the comments as you're talking and stuff, and some of them are saying, well, this is not 5D, this is 3D talk. Well, I'm doing this interview with Mel because I've been getting a lot of comments and a lot of people asking me questions from my audience. They want to know more in depth about XRP, XLM as the only standing economy after everything else crashes when the QFS becomes activated. Am I correct, Mel? So that's why.
Yeah, but this is not three-dimensional talk. To answer that comment or that question, what it is, this is not three-dimensional talk. We're talking about mechanics here. We're talking about functionality and true utility. Bitcoin doesn't have any. Okay, I've asked the world. I'm here live for the world to see. I've asked anybody who wants to come. I'll bring my guys. You bring your guys. Let's have a nice debate. I would love to have a really cool debate about XRP and Bitcoin, and then we could compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges and see who the clear winner is. I mean, I can't argue with functionality. We're here because Bitcoin is either going to be an asset or it's going to be a liability, because at the end of the day, it's got to fix a problem or it's got to fix some problems. It doesn't fix nothing. It doesn't fix diddly squat. Okay. XRP, however, you could do smart contracts on it. You could build federated side chains on it. You could build other tokens on it. I mean, it could be amped up to 3.5 trillion transactions per second. You don't believe me? Go on YouTube and punch in XRP trillions of transactions per second. The video is going to come up. I think it's Moon Lambo. Okay. And in that video, he talks about Odor. Who's Odor? Odor has come and gone many, many times. Odor is a guy that I believe used to sit on the board of Ripple, okay, who basically said to the world, yes, and the way this guy writes, this guy's brilliant. He's a very, very polished guy. Yes, the XRP could be amped up to trillions of transactions. But now, do they need to go 3 trillions? I don't believe so. They could go to billions and be more than enough of transactions per second. Michael Arrington from Arrington Capital, all right, and this story lives on my Telegram channel. You guys can go join my Telegram channel. If you go to QFS1776.com, at the top, you see the icon. You can join it. Michael Arrington, and I posted this video a million times, all right, he does a $55 million transaction. It takes exactly 1.8 seconds, and it cost the guy 30. How do you argue with that? That's value. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And then
we're talking about functionality here, purely.
Right. So do you think that there will be I guess let me just rephrase this. Are there going to be XLM and XRP exchanges where they set up a price to buy it back from us?
Look, I believe they have to. I believe the RLUSD doesn't stand for Ripple Labs. It stands for Real United States Dollar. They're doing a play on syllables here, okay? And you have to sort of read between the lines. There's just too many anomalies that say that Ripple may very well become the biggest bank in the world. If it's true that the XRP is going to be bought out by the Fed, whatever's left of the Fed that's merged with the Treasury, whatever's left of the Treasury, whatever's left of the IRS, I'm sure there's a few good people, okay, that has merged into the one unit, okay? that is now going to utilize the fastest system. If you go to Fed now, they clearly talk about it, that they're going to be using the XRP, man. It's in their documents. Okay. So if you want to talk about three-dimensional talk, why don't we talk facts? Let's talk facts. Let's talk documentation beating conversation.
I'm learning as much as everyone else is learning about this. I'm getting more details from you. So let's see. What are your thoughts about the XRP buyback theory?
I believe they have to do it, not because we're greedy and not because we need to become wealthy, because whether they buy it back or not, because of the value of the to be able to do transactions at lightning speed, because of the value that it can be amped up to billions and trillions of transactions per second, the fact that it's never made a mistake, the fact that we already moved trillions of dollars, the fact that this is the one that's going to move all of the money on earth, and we're graduating it to 50 quadrillion movement of money, 100 quadrillion movement of money. This new world is going to be very money hungry in the movement of money, and therefore it has to be worth a certain number in order for them to do that. It's got to be a big number. They don't want to move, quadrillions of dollars with a token that's worth $3 or $4. Just common sense logic. Okay, it's got to be worth a big number. What that big number is, I'm sure the Rosie Rios and the Brad Garling houses and whoever is upstairs, okay, in those ivory towers, I'm sure they know what that number is. You and I are just speculators. It's like going back, back in the 1800s when there's a gold rush in California. Some people said, hey, I think there's some gold over there. And they went there and they were right. They were speculators. Some other people said, hey, I don't think it's over there. I think it's over there. And they went over there and got nothing. But I tell you who made a lot of money. The guys down at the bottom of the mountain who sold all the pixels and shovels, right? All the brothels, the restaurants, the hotels, okay? All the guys that sold you the tools to dig the gold out of the ground, those guys made a bundle.
So when people go to the redemption centers, at these redemption centers, do you have to tell them exactly how much you own in these cryptos and show them your wallets, and therefore they see how much you have and then they buy it and reevaluate as well? How does this work?
We don't know. Anybody that tells you that they know, and that's exactly how the cookie crumbles, as they're telling you something of that magnitude as a complete total certainty, you should really run away from these people as fast as I know, because I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't know. We're speculating. I think we're going to be called in not by the redemption centers. I think the word's going to be put out by the people who are going to need the XRP, which is the treasury, not the redemption centers. The redemption centers got nothing to do with XRP, XLM, XDC. The redemption centers, like I said, is going to be people who are already trained in money, which is Wells Fargo, Citibank, Chase, and Bank of America, right? They're already trained. They got the equipment. They got everything ready to go. When the time comes and they make the announcement, they probably don't know as much as some of us know, but they'll go in and say, hey, you guys are trained in money. We have to train you in a week because this is coming down the pike. They're going to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to utilize the banks to go get our dinars, for example, providing they cash out. We don't know. We may have all been scammed. We could very well be in a psyop, and I'm a gambler myself. I went to the casino and I put a bet across the board on almost everything that I thought makes sense. And I've accumulated some of the stuff myself. Do I believe it's going to happen? My intuition tells me yes. My intuition tells me yes. Why? Because it's happened before. This is not the first revaluation, but the other one that we were not privy to be a part of happened in Kuwait. When we got into a war, your audience may or may not know the story. Again, the story lives on the internet for lack of shits and giggles, right? The bottom line is that I could tell you that when Kuwait did drill on their property in their country and they tapped into an oil well, the oil well went underneath the fence over onto the Iraqi side, and all of a sudden we got a problem. You had Saddam Hussein call George Bush Sr. and said, hey, these guys drilled, they tapped in. Bottom line is the vein that they tapped into is it's 80% underneath Iraq, and they're stealing our oil. we want to go in and attack. We allowed what? Saddam Hussein to go in and attack Kuwait, full well knowing, and who printed their money? We did. So we knew exactly what was going to happen.
Right.
Who printed the Kuwaiti dinar? Who reprinted it? We did. So we knew immediately that the dinar was going to what? Devalue, right? And then the big boys, your senators, your governors, your bankers, all your elite went in and bought the Kuwaiti dinars for pennies. For a penny, they could buy as many as they want. Okay, they bought it on the cheap and they sat on it because they realized when the war's over, revaluation. When the revaluation sets in, they all went in and cashed in their chips. Okay, same thing's happening now, but the reason why we got a Mexican standoff is because the deplorables have their hands on the money. And it's going to probably take somebody like Donald Trump to come in and say, you're going to revalue the dinars, and if you hold dinars, congratulations, you're rich. So some of you may be getting rich on the dinars, on the ZIMs, on the dongs, on the XRP, on the XLM, on the bolivars, on all of it. Would it be nice to hit like 10 mega jackpot lottos all at the same time?
Yeah. It sounds like winning the lottery.
Multiple
let me ask you this: who created Bitcoin? If Bitcoin is not going to be part of this new, golden age financial system, right? QFS. Who created Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin
was it a?
Yeah, we got to go back to the beginning of time, and some of your people may know the story, some may not know the story, but I'll tell it. So there's always new people moving in the space. There's less than 10 million people that even are somewhat invested in digital assets across the board. There's 78,000 different digital assets. So there's not that many. There's still the rest of the world is still yet to come to even look at it. There's still people on the street that don't know what a Bitcoin is. Okay, can you imagine? So to answer your question, who created it? See, you have to go back in time. And again, this is verifiable, and some of you may know the story, and some of you maybe heard the story, me tell the story more than one time, and that's okay. You have patience because the rest of the world's not here yet, right? So we're telling the story to the new people. We always have to tell the story again, and we sound like broken records. By default, we really have not much of a choice. So what happened was basically David Schwartz, and this is verifiable, puts a patent on blockchain technology. I backed him up into a corner in Las Vegas. I was the guy that did that, okay? And that video went hyper viral, tens of millions of views. Anyway, long story short, he went a patent on blockchain technology in 1988. Only one problem. You got dial-up internet. In 1988, you have dial-up internet. And dial-up internet doesn't work well with what? Blockchain. Yeah, so we had to really wait a long time for the internet to catch up so that it could support what? The blockchain. Year 2000, David Schwartz, I believe, aka the main Satoshi Nakamoto, goes to work for who? DARPA. In 2007,
you're saying that David, not David, but yeah, you said that David Schwartz was working for DARPA.
David Schwartz went to go work for DARPA around the year 2000 and was there for 2007, 2008, all the way 2009, all the way, I believe, until the beginning of 2010. Okay.
He was deep stater then, who created Bitcoin.
I don't know what he is, but I know that he's an incredible programmer. So what happened in 2007 and 2008 was the housing bubble, right?
Right.
The housing bubble. I think everybody remembers that. The housing bubble comes tumbling on down. In 2009, Bitcoin is born. 2007, 2008, housing bubble. 2009, you got the Bitcoin. Coincidence? Not. There's no coincidences here. Very possible.
Was he connected? Was he connected to Satoshi Nakamoto?
Yeah, he is the main Satoshi Nakamoto. I got him on video saying that.
Oh, man.
I got him on video. I cornered him. I'll tell that story too right after this one. Remind me to tell the story. But anyway, so check this out.
Sure.
So the only guy that can basically build a monetary system is this one incredible, brilliant programmer called David Schwartz, aka Satoshi Nakamoto. Is it possible that the guys inside DARPA say, hey, listen, we're a bunch of F-ups. We screwed up big. You know, the housing bubble, people are losing their house. We need a new monetary system. With that, David Schwartz gets the download to build Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin, to me, is nothing more than the Motorola brick phone. When we built the brick phone, we realized that building a cell phone, even though I think it was like a brick for real, right, was possible. Who uses the today? Nobody, right? So the brick phone was too old, too cumbersome, cost too much money to move the Bitcoin from point A to point B. Who can fix the Bitcoin? Satoshi Nakamoto, aka David Schwartz, gets another download. Gets another download. Now he's got the XRP that can be amped up to 3 point. You realize that XRP and Bitcoin were like months apart. Like I'm talking like 2 months. When they realized that this thing doesn't work, they said, hey, you know, this is not going to be the one. You got to build the one, which is called XRP. XRP is the one that everybody's looking at today. And so that's the way I think the story goes. Again, it's me speculating that these guys went to him, said, we're in a lot of trouble, and you're the only guy that could fix it. And they built a Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't work. Who's the only guy that could go back and fix Bitcoin? Satoshi Nakamoto. Fast forward, last May, I'm in Vegas at the XRP convention, and David Schwartz comes running into the room, and I immediately go towards him, and I corner him. I said, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to watch your body language. And I told him the story. You put the blockchain on, you put the patent on blockchain technology in 1988. In 2000, you went to go consult with DARPA. You were there till 2010, 2007, 2008, the housing bubble, the whole thing. And at the end, you know what he says? Yeah, he goes, I might be one of the main Satoshi Nakamotos. You got this on video. You can't make this shit up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
wow.
that was a wild moment in the history of digital assets. That's for sure.
Wow. It seems like he pretty much unveiled himself.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What do you think Donald Trump and Elon Musk's intentions are for cryptocurrency moving forward for the next 4 years? Mainly with XRP and XLM.
Well, you know, they know a lot more that they lead to believe. Mm-hmm. And because they are now in the political sphere, even though they're not politicians, they're business people, they got to tread very lightly. I think, you know, again, not coincidences that Twitter is now called X.com. Not coincidence. I think the payment system on Twitter at some point is going to be XRP. How long before it's going to be the XRP is going to be the payment system at, you know, Amazon, Apple? How long before? As a matter of fact, hey, my website, stayingalive.com, alive with 2 E's. You don't see it here, but it's got 2 E's at the end.com. The other one belongs to the Bee Gees. The bottom line is I've been telling my wife, and I'm sure she's wife, Amber, please put on the website, we accept XRP, XLM, XDC. Do it now, you know, and I'm sure she'll get around to. I keep everybody busy, crazy. If you work with Mel Carmine, I will drive you mad because there's so much to do. There's so many moving parts. Everybody's plate is full, and I don't have like $82 billion to a war chest to be able to hire a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Believe me, managing the amount of people we manage right now is enough. So, what options do your audience have?
Some questions that they might have.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look. Let's see. Do you have access to the chat?
I don't. It's your chat, right?
Yeah, I see the chat, and one person.
I have mine here, but I haven't even paid attention to it, to be honest with you.
Right. Okay. So one of my viewers was asking if XLM and XRP are going to be the only crypto remaining when everything else crashes.
How many who would be remaining?
If when everything else crashes, when we go into, you know, this new system, will XRP and XLM be the only thing remaining?
No. The ISO tokens are a shoe-in. I expect anywhere between 50, maybe 75. Let's play devil's advocate. Let's say 100 tokens left standing when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For example, and I own quite a bit of SHX. That's a sleeper. Okay, SHX, stronghold token. Okay, that will be one of the ones, for example, that I would sacrifice because I know that's got tremendous amount of utility. Another one that I would sacrifice, for example, is VeChain. All right, a lot of people don't notice, but VeChain, which has tremendous utility, and it's not allowed to be part of the ISOs because it's political. It's China. You know what I mean? It's China, and China's not allowed to be part of the ISOs, at least not. But it does have tremendous amount of utility, and I can tell you that, for example, a lot of people don't notice, but I believe you guys can look it up. VeChain went to like $7 or $8 during the last bull run. Okay, on this bull run, if VeChain went to $7, $8 on the last bull run, and we were strictly running on hot air back then in 2017, 2018, on this bull run, I'm expecting double digits, probably $15, $20. That's a conservative number. Would I sacrifice, for example, my VeChain and my stronghold tokens and put, conservatively $10 million in the bank? Yes, absolutely. Why wouldn't I do that? This way I don't have to touch my XRP, my XLM, my XDC, which I'm totally in love with. And maybe would I sacrifice my dinars? Yes. I can live, I don't know about you, Ishmael, but I can live very comfortable, 10, 15 million, $20 million. Very comfortable.
Right. And also as a reminder, guys, as we go quantum into this new world with the new financial system, it's not going to be like the old way. It's going to be a little different. We're going to have a living quantum system that is actually going to be reading your energy, reading the level of your heart, how much you are in service to others. And that will also be important. You could say that will be the main thing that's going to make you extremely wealthy as well. So it is going to be a system that we are going to be interacting with consciously and vibrationally, so we are going beyond money. We are going beyond money.
Yeah, absolutely. And at some point, Ishmael, because you can see the future as well. Once we conquer immortality and once we're able to live forever, and we will, we just got to make sure that the bad guys are not never going back. That's
exactly.
Yeah. But at some point, money is not going to be needed. Technology is moving so fast. By the way, I had what's his name on not too long ago. I wish there was a way that we could share the window. Is there a way that we could share? I think we can, right? Present. Let me see if I can pull it up. This is gee, I'd have to find it. But this is 107, where I basically cornered him and I said, we got Donald Trump on camera saying that we got to beat the Russians and the Chinese to flying cars. And to that he adds, yeah, and they're going to have over Unity motors. Really? Let me explain to the audience over you, because a lot of the audience understands what it is, obviously, but some of the audience that's new does not. And over Unity motors is literally a motor that doesn't need gasoline or maintenance. It doesn't have moving parts. It doesn't have belts, a water pump. It doesn't have none of the bullshit, right? And so that was a very interesting piece. As a matter of fact, I was reading through the comments and I said, oh my God, I can't believe you actually backed up 107 and you got him to say X, Y, and Z. You should cut that piece out and make it into a piece, which we did. And it's got a tremendous amount of traction. I wish I could find it. I wish I had, if I had more time, I would have queued it up earlier. It's an interesting piece, but if they go to my YouTube channel, they'll be able to dig it up, channel and my the other channel as well.
Now, this other question is about how the word is that sometime very, very soon the QFS is going to be activated. They're saying as far as like as early as I don't know. I would have to say January 20th, right? And what does that mean, as well as Donald Trump activating it on the 13th? Or did he activate on the 12th, which was a few days ago? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, the quantum financial system has been activated in increments all along for a long time. It's not going to be like a one switch that does it all in one shot.
Okay.
It's going to be increments until, it's D-Day. I believe that, after the 20th, that's when the fireworks are going to start. I think that's when the match begins, because Donald Trump is going to march to a beat of a different drummer. And if you don't think he has 30 committees of patriot people with big cojones right now getting ready to tackle the border, will be closed immediately, number one. And I hate to tell you, there's one more war that we're going to get into, and it's inevitable. It is inevitable. And that war, and a lot of your guys will either disagree with me or they think that I've gone off band. You cannot have the light exist right besides evil. Okay, one's got to win, one's got to lose. Okay, I believe that Donald Trump is going to go down to Mexico with an agreement with the Mexican, government and the Mexican military, alongside the full might of the American military, and they're going to unleash hell on earth on the cartel. I believe that is a war that's going to last maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I'm talking they're going to unleash the full might of the Mexican military and the American military, and we're going to get rid of all the gangs. If you're part of the 18th Street gang or MS-13 or any of these gangs, the Latin Kings, you're finished. It's over.
Yeah, okay? I actually talked about that.
He's going to clean it all up.
That even gangsters and mafiosos and people that are part of these,
gone.
Yeah, they're all going to be gone. Mafias, everything.
Yeah, he's going to get rid of all, because you're not going to have 1,000 years of peace if you allow just one root that you forgot to uproot from the ground of this evilness, because it's going to start to grow. And then, another 500 years from now or another 50 years from now, we're going to have a problem again. So you have to eradicate it at the source, and you have to get rid of it permanently. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I mean, that's also part of draining the swamp.
Yeah. Well, the swamp is a lot deeper and a lot wider and a lot bigger than we all thought. And, we allowed this to happen because everybody got into this, thing of, hey, watching the television and being distracted, right? And 50 years later, voila, you wake up to a new world order, and somebody's trying to bring in, what happens over there in North Korea, what happens in here, which is what we were fighting, 100 years ago, 75 years ago, right? Now they're trying to import it here, and they're trying to put it through your schools and trying to indoctrinate your kids. It's going to be over. You can't continue down this pattern. They never realized, right? First of all, we don't give up D's, right? You know what we're talking about. And people are getting more of these and more of the ammunition that they need for those, because America is never going to fall under that pattern. And I'm trying to link down here to a minimum, because I don't want to get your channel in trouble as much as mine. But it's going to happen. I mean, you're looking at a situation here where, once this is all cleaned up, then you can have the light. Then you can have, 1,000 years of peace. Right now, bringing in 1,000 years of peace to coexist, Sicilian gangsters and Mexican mafia and M18 gang and the Latin Kings and all the fentanyl that's coming across the border and all the illegal shit that's coming across, right? You can't have that. Donald Trump is going to have a mass deportation like you've never seen. You've never seen this before. You'll never see it again. And it's going to happen very quickly. And I believe he's got 30 committees to attack 30 problems immediately. And simultaneously, he'll turn on the pipeline. And the next thing you know, you're paying $1.75, $1.80 for high test at the pump again, which will cause what? The inflation to go down. Because that's their excuse. All gas is up, so we got to crank up the price. The problem is they crank up the price, but then when the gas comes down, someone's going to be in charge to tell them, hey, you're going to have to bring the prices down. They have to put some laws in place that they're going to enforce. Okay? Because, I mean, it is crazy. You're going to go to the store and you buy a big fat steak. It costs you $40 for a steak. You used to be able to buy a steak at the restaurant for $29.95 cooked. A server would serve it to you, and it was cheaper than buying a uncooked steak at the store. This is not sustainable.
And then my final question to you, Mel, is what do you think that the world will be like once there is a level playing field in our financial system with free energy technology and all of that hidden technology released?
It all depends on what we do with our money, okay? Because right now you have literally, you probably have about 7,000, according to Google, if I'm not mistaken, 7,200 multi-billionaires, and they're not interested in doing anything for humanity. They're on their, on their yachts with champagne and cocaine and whores, and these people are not. These talk about three dimensional. There's your three dimensional. Even though they've reached a level of wealth, they don't have their heads screwed up. But that also doesn't mean that because you become wealthy and I become wealthy, I'm just going to hand my money out to any Tom, Dick, and Harry who wants it. So we got to have some protocols in place where the people that get the money have to have some skin in the game, right? We want to change the world, but I'm not going to give my money to some guy that likes to hang out at the titty bar watching the girls dance naked around the pole, who's drunk all the time. I'm not putting my money into that. Would you?
Oh, of course not. Of course not. Now, if you guys have any questions for Mel, again, I'm doing this show, bringing on Mel because he's an expert at this. Many of you have been asking me for weeks to go deeper into XLM, XRP, quantum financial system. So if you guys have any questions for Mel, please type them in capital letters so that I can bypass the chat. So now I will be taking questions.
How many people we got watching, Ismael? How many people you got watching on your end?
On my end, we have a little over 1,200.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Super awesome.
But we're double streaming. We're also on your end, right? On your show.
Yeah, we got people, but I think we got like a few hundred on X.com and probably a few hundred on. So I don't do lives often, so people don't even know what to expect. Yeah, we got about 224, 225 people on over on Rumble. Not many, and this was like spur of the moment too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm looking for questions. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, somebody wants to know, how are we going to get that $800 number call? I guess they're talking about when they get the call to go to redeem their prosperity programs.
Okay, again, I'm going to say that one more time. These are people who have created a nonsensical story because they want their 15 minutes of fame. It's purely hyperbole, speculation, nonsense. Nobody knows that there's going to be an 800 number. These are all inventions, figments of people's imagination, and they have gotten themselves a microphone. Their 15 minutes of fame is about over. Okay. When you hear from the right authorities on what you need to do and what number to call, whether it's an 800 number or whether it's a local number, it doesn't matter. You'll know. But these people are all over the internet.
Oh, somebody's saying you're going to get an email.
I don't have any evidence of that being true. Okay. Their 15 minutes of fame, all these bozos, is about to be over. Me, I'm going to tell you exactly the truth on how I feel it. And sometimes it gets me in trouble, and maybe I would be a lot more popular, at least for a little short stint, until they find out that you're full of shit, which is exactly what's going to happen to those guys. Everyone's going to find out, oh my God, this guy was full of shit. That guy was full of shit. Man, they were all full of shit except for the guy with the big chair. You know what I mean? And then you'll know. But I'm going to tell you the truth on how I could see it just using my logic, truth, and common sense.
All right, so this is a question from Mathis Chronicles. He wants to know, when will debt relief, debt relief happen? And I'll take 2 large pepperonis with extra mozzarella, please. I guess he wants to know, when will debt relief happen?
Well, if you watch the Joe Rogan show, for example, again, I'm going to point to the anomalies. That doesn't mean that it makes it, but I do believe that we're looking at Nasara Jasara literally in the making right now.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan turns around and says, "Are you talking about bringing in tariffs and doing away with the IRS?" And Donald Trump nonchalantly turns around and goes, "Yeah, maybe," like that, literally like that. So these are things that we're paying attention to. I personally I'll give you what I feel should be done. That doesn't mean that it's going to get done, but I'm going to give you my feeling. I think that everybody should be paid back a lot of this money. And let me tell you something. If they were to pay you back all of the money they stole from you with no interest, just the money that they've been trading on your birth certificate and all that kind of stuff, you wouldn't need the XRP. You wouldn't need the XLM. You wouldn't need the dinars. You wouldn't need anything, because every single one of you out there, if you can go to the Federal Reserve with your social security number, you might want to go watch my co-host, Elisa Valentino, just had on Mike Barra on my channel, my main channel. You might want to go watch that interview. It is absolutely epic. Okay, they don't even have to really print the money. They're using your money that they've traded, and they got billions and trillions and quadrillions of dollars, literally, that they've been using our money. If they were to give us our money back, we'd all be wealthy. And there was a plan. There was a plan in 1913 to do exactly just that. But some people thought that we weren't worthy. So now let's see who this leadership is, what they're going to do, how much they're going to do. The important thing that I'm going to sort of plant the seed in your audience and my audience, and I think you'll agree with me. I don't know who this guy James is. I know that Trump Jr. is fond of him. It was his pick. I personally don't like politicians, plural. I'm a political atheist. I can tell you that our track record is not a good one. Okay, with politicians, this guy Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, we thought, oh, these guys potentially, presidential material. Bullshit. Look, it looks like they both have some serious dirt, and they're hiding like rats. Okay, I don't want a Jay Vance after these 4 years in office, who I would really love to get, and I'm going to plant the seed right here, right now. And it's up to you guys out there, the digital soldiers, say, you know what, Mel is right, and he's prepped, he's ready, he's being groomed for this. I believe Eric Trump should be the next president of the United States. I'll take Trump Jr. as well, but Eric Trump is ready for prime time. If you watch PBD about 6-7 weeks ago, there was an interview with him on Patrick Bet David. I urge everyone to go watch that 2 hours and 15-minute interview. Epic. The first 45 minutes, the first 50 minutes, epic. Okay? That's the guy that's ready to become the next guy in line. I would love to see, 20 years of Trump, of Trumpism, and let's get this country back on track, because getting this country back on track is not going to be an easy feat. Things are really messed up. And I can tell you that it's going to take all of us to help. Find out what you're good at and jump in and help. I can tell you that, it might take another 2 or 3 years before we see the light at the end of the tunnel. Trump works really, really fast. Look at all the people he had against him. And he was still able to accomplish amazing feats with all the Russia, and the hookers peeing on him. This is a guy that when he washes his hands like 18 times when he goes to the bathroom, he uses a piece of paper to turn the doorknob. He's a germaphobe. He's not going to have hookers pee on him. And so he was able to accomplish all of that. Imagine if he had a media that was behind him. Imagine if everybody got behind them and pushed them and praised them, say, you're doing a good job, keep going. Think about how much more Trump and his administration, a right administration, not the one that was, selected by Sean Hannity, but that's the worst guy you can listen to, right? Think about how much more we could have gotten accomplished. Is that maybe this time around? I believe so. You know why? Because mainstream media is DOA, dead on arrival. The Mel Carmine, the Joe Blow show, the Nino Rodriguez show, people that have a show with a microphone collectively, we're 10 times bigger than mainstream media, 100 times. You go watch, what's his name, Alex Jones on X.com. He's got 2.8 million people watching him live. The new numbers for CNN, they don't get 2.8 million people watching them live in a year. Pretty soon they're going to be selling all the equipment that I got here. They're going to be selling it to the podcasters for like 12 cents on the dollar because they're out of business. And Donald Trump is moving exactly in that direction. He's going to the PBDs of the world. He's going to the Joe Rogans of the world. He's going to all these big podcasters. I like to see him really lift this freedom of speech ban that we have and allow the speech to flow freely. I would love to see that. The Ismael Perez and the Mel Carmines and the guys that are sort of halfway or 1/3 of the way up the road can get there as well. Because we're ready for prime time too, believe me. You don't think Ismael Perez can interview Donald Trump? So can I.
That would be good. That would be the goal, right? To have him on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody's asking about Ripple Roth. What do you think about Ripple Roth?
I know what Ripple Roth is.
You don't know what it is?
Ripple Roth. Tell him to explain what it is.
This is a question from Gary. He says, "What about if you ask him if he knows about Ripple Roth? ROTH. I've never heard of it.
I never heard of it. Nope.
You never heard of it? Okay.
No.
And then, you've heard of
a token. Ask him if it's a token.
Gary, is that a token? Go ahead and type it in the chat if you're still there. And then somebody was asking about collab and something else, but I think that's facial recognition. Let's see, where is it at? Yeah, I don't see that question anymore.
Hey guys, if you're looking, invest in tokens out, there's a token born every 20 minutes or less than that, every 2 minutes probably. Be careful. That the ones you want to be invested in are the ISO tokens, XRP. If you go punch in ISO 20022 tokens, you'll get a list of all of them. There's like 7 of them. Those are the ones you want to invest in. We already done the homework for you. The only thing you have to do is put up your money, because XRP has been here for 9 years, 10 years. No, I'm sorry. XRP has been here for 12 years. What am I saying? They came out like a couple months right after Bitcoin, 12, 13 years. It's not going. If a token comes out, it's going to disappear in the first 6 months, in the first 8 months. If it's here for 12 years, 14 years, whatever, it's not going anywhere.
Somebody says, I think they meant Ripple Roth IRA. Ripple Roth.
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry to just inform him that. I can tell you that one of the documentaries your people should really watch, which really will get them to get the bug for this digital asset stuff. I know it was one of my favorite documentaries, is The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin. It's called The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin. It's free on YouTube. You might want to watch that, because I'm going to tell you, it's going to be history repeating itself all over again. There's a part in that video and that documentary about maybe 1/3 of the way through where they're actually filming at that time, real time, where the Bitcoin had hit $200 and people were celebrating. They were going nuts. And they called some of their friends up. Hey, you got to get to Bitcoin. It's going to go to 1,000. It's going to go to 2,000. It's at 200 right now. You can get in right now. And then it took a dump, whatever. But $200, knowing what you know today, knowing what you know right now, and you know that the Bitcoin did hit, even though it doesn't do anything, even though Bitcoin hit what, $108,000 all-time high. Knowing that fact. If you could take a little time capsule and travel back into the past, time travel back into 2009, when that happened, and what Bitcoin goes to $200. How many garage sales would you have? How many side hustles would you have? How many $200? How many pieces of $200 would you scrounge up, knowing the fact that Bitcoin hit $108,000? How many dollars would you scrounge up to invest in Bitcoin today, knowing that fact? The same thing is going to happen again. People are going to come to the Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral, and XRP is going to be $20, $30. And then you fast forward maybe 10 months, 12 months, 18 months into the future. I don't think it'll take that long. And Bitcoin, XRP rather, is going to be a buyout, or it goes parabolic, thousands of dollars. And you're gonna go back to Quantum 1776.com at the party. Say, oh my God, are you telling me that I was at that party and that crazy bald-headed guy with that ridiculous chair was telling me to buy it at $30 and I thought it was too expensive? Deja vu. History will repeat itself. Believe me, it will.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. You guys have now a thorough understanding about XRP, XLM, and its connections to the quantum financial system. I really don't see any more questions at this time. So
good. The best education you guys can get is QFS1776.com. QFS, which stands for Quantum Financial System, 1776.com, and watch all the videos. That website has been translated into Portuguese, into Swedish, into Dutch, into a bunch of languages because it's so well designed. And I don't take credit for that. Amber marketed that whole entire thing. I just said, hey, here's a bunch of videos, put them in some chronological order that makes sense. And I gave them the names of the links, and the rest is history. That website gets, with no search engine optimization whatsoever, zero. That website sometimes gets 150,000 views in a month. Unique visitors. That's crazy. We never search engine optimization, not even once.
All right, guys. So again, we're going to be having an event where I'm going to be one of the presenters. This is an event that Mel's putting together over in Cape Canaveral, March 7th and 8th.
No, 8th and 9th.
8th and 9th. So it's going to be on a Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th.
You got wedding style food. You got karaoke. You got DJ. You got gala dinner. You got an hors d'oeuvre pool party with DJ and karaoke as well at the last day. It's going to be amazing.
Well, I'm definitely going to be there, Mel.
Yes, and I can't wait to have you there because it's a lot of your people, I'm sure, are going to come because they want to, just like the last time. And he's going to have his books and he's going to autograph the book for you, and you can take pictures, all of that. So it's going to be wild. Can't wait.
Absolutely. So for all the Galactic Jedis out in Florida, near Florida, come hang out with me on the 8th and 9th of March over at Cape Canaveral, and I'll go ahead and provide the address later on in my website so you guys can know where it's at.
Awesome. I guess we can end the stream right now, guys. We'll see you in Cape Canaveral on the 8th and the 9th of March. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We got we're not sure yet. We'll know. They're going to be inviting me on their show, by the way, live on the chain. Chip and Jeff, they might be coming down as well. So we're negotiating with a few entities out there that it may actually manifest. So it's great. Thank you. We'll catch you on the next one.
Right. Talk to you later, Mel, and may the God Force be with you all for the rest of the people. We'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, stream has